1-800 Lavatela. My first name is Salvador, so it just translates over to save.
Oh, right, Salvador. I was like,
Save, salva, salvar. Hola Mi Gente, we're back again on another episode of
Raices NYC. And on this episode, we have...
Hello, my name is Sal Barajas Alvarez. I am a photographer, graphic designer.
photography, you said. How long have you been doing that for?
Since like 2016, maybe 15. I was born and raised in Reno, Nevada, and I was like really into like streetwear. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna start my own clothing brand. So I started with this other guy, and he convinced me to buy a camera. That was the first time I went into debt. He kind of like taught me how to use it and do all that, and then I did the photography for that, and that's kind of how I started.
Wait, hold up. So you started a clothing brand?
Yeah.
And then you became a photographer?
The thing I really wanted to do and like really wanted to pursue was like clothing and fashion.
Okay. And then you bought the camera, and you were like, whoa.
Yeah, and I was like, this is kind of cool. Still ran with the clothing. I probably stopped doing the clothing in like 2022 when I moved to New York. That's when I fully stopped. I started that brand. That was like in high school, and then I got out of high school, graduated, went into college, and then I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do my own thing, like no partnerships, no nothing. I was printing the t-shirts and like doing all the screen printing in my parents' garage. My wife would help me, and I just had like people around me that would help out, and like, yeah, it was pretty cool.
What was the name of your brand?
Savior Studios.
Why Savior Studios?
My first name is Salvador, so it just translates over to Savior.
Oh, right, Salvador. I was like, wait, no Savo?
Save, salva, salvar. Okay. And then the door is the studio part, obviously.
Yeah.
You mentioned that before you came to New York. Where were you before you?
In Reno, Nevada. I was born and raised there. I was there my entire life. I didn't come to New York till like March of 2022 for spring break. I was here for a week. I had a buddy that was going to school out here. So, he showed me around. I came with my wife, and then that summer we're like, let's go to New York. And we're like, let's go.
Wow.
So, like, this was a whole different transition then, because, because this is a whole different place. You're starting again basically from zero.
Yeah.
How was that? Like, how was the experience?
It was really scary. We were lucky enough that my wife transferred with her job here. So she had a steady income. Yeah. Your boy did not. She was holding me down. Holding her clothes, making sure she was fed.
Yo, housework is work too.
It's hard.
Exactly.
It's hard.
Yo, who's gonna clean?
Yeah.
He gotta clean. He had to cook. He did everything.
Yeah. I had to go like.
Wait. Do you cook?
I get down.
Cook. He didn't cook. Never mind.
No, we have
no
a good dynamic. She cooks, and then I wash all the dishes.
Oh.
Yeah, I think as relationships should, it's always a give and take. That's just relationships, especially now modern relationships are very like 50-50 in a way.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that?
100%. I think we have had this conversation multiple times too, where like everyone always thinks that a relationship is 50-50. And yes, but no, because sometimes I'm able to give her 70-80% of myself.
Yeah.
And she's only able to give me 20.
Okay.
Like work, whatever it may be. Like, she probably cannot be there 100% as a partner or like as an individual. And that's okay. It's just a day, tomorrow we're going to wake up and it's all going to be better.
Tomorrow's a new day.
Exactly. And I've been with her for like, I think we're going on to 9 years or 10 years. Like we've been together for a long time.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
We just celebrated our 1 year of marriage, which has been great. Thank you. Yeah, that's why sometimes I tell her, she's like, oh, you're in a bad mood. I'm like, yeah, I really am. She'll stay away.
Okay.
And be like, all right, I'm going to leave him, let us do his own thing, whatever he's got to do. And same with her. Like sometimes, I don't want to be around her, and she knows that.
No. Yeah, and
sometimes you do need you need your own personal space as a person in general.
Exactly.
You need your own personal space to create, to go through your own mental challenges. Sometimes you can't always put that on your partner either.
Yeah. Let's go back into the photography now. Yeah. Okay, so you come to NYC and you're still now you were already like in the mindset, I want to do photography. This is what I want to do. How was that?
It really isn't what I wanted to do.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not invested into it 100%.
Okay.
It's just something that I'm good at, but it's
talent. It's talent. Excuse me. You see that? I'm not bad. Yeah, I work hard. I was born like this.
I just do it when I can. I document what I can
Mhm.
when I can. People do it for their careers, and they have beautiful careers, very successful careers.
Yeah.
They're able to live off of it. But I think for me, I have to keep it fun. If not, it becomes a job, and that's not what I want it to be.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, props to all the photographers that can shoot weddings, do all that. I personally cannot. That's okay. I have a really bad story about like me trying to do that. It was kind of sad. A friend reached out. He's like, "Hey, like I'm having a baby. Can you do my like baby shower photo shoot?" And I was like, "I've never done one." I was like, "It's your first kid.
Yeah.
How about you go to this guy?" And I sent him like an Instagram. I was like, "This guy does all that stuff."
Yeah.
He's like, "Nah, we want you to do it." At this time, I was like doing photography that involved water guns and like stuff like that. And I was like, that's not what I do. And then he's like, no, we really want you to do it. So we did it. And I was like, all right, it's going to be $60. I never got $60. And he never posted it. And then like I see his like girlfriend like doing a photo shoot on her phone. And I was like, yeah, they really didn't like it. And that's when I was just like, all right, it's cool. Like that's not worries. I told him.
Yeah.
So it's not really on me.
Would you say that was a learning lesson for you?
I think it's important to try a little bit, like try different things. You know, try like if it works for you, if it doesn't work for you. Obviously, it didn't work for me, but I didn't pursue it anymore. It was just I left it at that. I'm like, all right, this was that one experience to where it's like that type of photography is not for you. That's okay. You know, I'm good at other things, and you know, I document in other ways, and it works out.
No, yeah. You know, just like the Reason exhibit that you had at Cholitas. And all that. Those pictures were really beautiful. Like it was really like eye catching. Like you could like just be in that moment with each photo.
Yeah. Do you want to explain a little bit about the location and what the message was, or anything like that?
Of course. So this is my first time going to Veracruz. That is where my wife's dad is from, and he told us like, "Hey, I'm gonna be out there for a month. You guys should come out." And so like her mom, her sister, and then like we flew out there. And this was like around like late January. So where my parents are from, son las fiestas del pueblo, and like it's like 2 weeks, you know.
Yeah.
So I would just talk with my mom on the phone, and she'd be like, "Oh, you know who's here? Like this person's here. That your cousin's here. They just got their papers. Like they were just finally able to travel for the first time."
Wow.
So I was like, "Damn!" I was like, "Okay, I should have gone over there." I was like, "But whatever, you know."
Yeah.
And I just was thinking, it's like people that like hear about Mexico or like hear about their parents like rancho and like they romanticize about it. And I remember when my dad would tell me about his rancho, I'd be like, dang, I feel like I could have played with my dad, like in this sense of like baseball, whatever it may have been, you know, like we would have been best friends. So that's what I kind of wanted to document. It's like, this is my first time seeing Veracruz. I want people to see what I kind of saw, like the oohs and the ahs of Veracruz, you know? And I think I captured that really well. I went to drop off the pictures and I got them back. And I just like looked at them, like no edits, nothing. Hit up Brian right away from Cholita, and I was like, "Hey, bro," I was like, "Who's showcasing in May?" He's like, "It's yours." I was like, "Dude, fucking game over." I said I was okay at photography, but no, when I saw those pictures, I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Dang, you really got it like that."
No, yeah. It was really nice. Like we really enjoyed it. I think before you even set it up, we heard that you know you were going to showcase something on May. And all of that too. When bringing out your pictures and people ever hit, when they hit you up, like they love your photo and all that, how does that feel?
It feels really good. People like enjoy like my work. You know, like I created this, I saw this, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna take a picture of this. And for people to like connect to it or for it to provoke like an emotion in them. Like I remember talking to you about, you're like, oh my God, like this takes me back to Veracruz. I'm just like, that means I did my job right. Like I provoked that emotion in somebody. You know, when we were taking it down and you guys were putting up your show, I was talking to one of Brian's friends, and there was a picture of a raspado cart. And it was like all dark around it, and there was like only the light showing from the cart itself. And she told me, she's like, "That's how I feel." And in my head, I was like, "You feel like a raspado cart?" and then, and I was just like, and then she started talking about it more.
A raspado cart.
And she's like, I just feel like this is where I'm at, and like I'm that like that shining light that like is in the darkness. I was like, wow, damn. I was like, I thought the lighting was just really good.
No,
But for someone to like connect to it in that sense, phenomenal. I was like, that means I'm doing my job right.
No, yeah, it's true because just from an instant, just a glider, like, whoa, that's me.
I don't know if you guys were there when like I had the candy out.
What candy?
So I brought like
candy.
Yeah, he definitely was not there.
Yeah, I was not there.
this previous show was my second show at Cholita.
Okay.
And then with the first one as well, I put out candy, like Mexican candy that I really enjoyed as a kid, and to this day, like a Mazapan, love Mazapan.
Yeah. Then you'll love Mazapan latte. If you guys know, thank you to Chocolate for letting us use their space to record our Raices podcast. One of the great things they make is the great Mazapan latte. When you come to Chocolate, make sure you get a Mazapan latte. But back again.
If you ever come to Chocolate, the bacon, egg, and cheese on a concha is here too. Just FYI.
It's viral.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Incredible. Now back again to work.
I brought these candies just to for people to enjoy, like, once they ordered, see my show, and it's just like that small, like, or for people to travel back to their childhood and enjoy something that they enjoyed then, and now as a grown up, like, we all have our lives. They're stressful, and you walk back to the train, back home, like, you get to enjoy this piece of candy, this coffee. You just saw something, like, phenomenal. So just to provoke that, like, emotion again.
Okay, wow. That was very detailed.
I think that just proves that you put a lot of thought when you have your exhibits, because even like putting a little candy just like invokes a whole different feeling from like just seeing, it's like all senses, right?
Yeah.
All 5 senses, you see, you hear, and then you taste. So that's a lot.
It was talent. Now you don't work hard.
Yeah.
It's talent. You already
I made
It
those
just
Mazapan.
came out of me.
Yeah.
Oh!
Mine's don't break when you break the
Yeah.
board. Right. Besides photography, what else do you do?
You mentioned graphic designer. So was that something you studied? Like,
Yeah, that's what I went to school for.
Okay.
Wow.
It was just something, to be honest with you, like,
Another talent. Not
yeah,
working.
I'm okay. I didn't think college was gonna be for me, and then I took like a graphic design course. I was like, you know what, I really don't want to do college, but to be honest, like, let me have that piece of paper that says I can do something.
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, fuck it, I'll do this.
Their parents are like, what are you gonna do with your life? Like, what's gonna get the bills paid? I don't know if you've had that conversation, but I feel like a lot of people have that conversation where you're out of high school, you're going into like the real world,
And your dad always wants you, your mom wants you to be a doctor, a nurse, an astronaut,
Yeah.
whatever's gonna pay, a lawyer.
Yeah.
But that's not what we all want to do.
No.
we all have our different paths.
And my dad, and I was like, I'm gonna be a graphic designer. What is that? I was like, oh, you see these logos? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna print T-shirts. I know how to do this. And they're like, all right, like, if that's what you like. I'm like, yeah.
So they were very supportive.
Yeah. My parents
That's
were really
amazing.
supportive. They knew at a very young age school was not gonna be for me.
Oh, wow.
You was a troublemaker.
Yeah, and then my mom was like, damn, I didn't think you were gonna go to school, but hey, congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you like passing your classes and when you were in school still?
No.
No?
No.
Yeah, you graduated college too?
Yeah.
Yo, you guys could do it.
Because
You could
I
do it
started.
'cause of
If Sal can do it, y'all
Anybody can do it. Seriously.
No, because it's just talent.
Oh,
Yeah. He would be like, oh, what you want, a paper? Here.
Yeah.
Like, when you did it last night, what? Is there an issue? He's like, oh no, it's just nice. I know it's nice.
No, seriously, like shout out to my mom, dude. Like, seriously, straight up, like, biggest procrastinator there was during school.
Ooh.
The assignment was given 2 weeks ago, bro. I started that night before.
And what
3 in the morning. My mom would stay up, and she was just like, wait for me.
Con la chancla.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, you can go to sleep. Like, you don't have to wait. Like, I'm gonna just stay up. And then she's like, nah, like, I'll stay. I was like, all right, cool. So yeah, shout out to my mom, one of my biggest
Oh,
supporters.
wow.
Wow, that's so cute. Like,
Yeah.
that's adorable. Just like stay up with you.
You don't know she had like the belt right next to her. Like, I'll stay here. Like, oh.
Yeah,
Did you have like other siblings as well?
yeah. I have a little brother.
Oh.
He's not so little. He's 23.
Oh,
24,
wow.
yeah.
So you're the oldest.
Yeah.
The more you know, the more you know.
Yeah, shout out to my little brother. I went to school. We both graduated high school, but he started his own business.
Wow.
So I'm like, all right, hell yeah.
Do you want to shout him out?
Yeah, shout out my brother Diego. And then like my other brother Chamuco. That's our other brother.
Okay.
And they detail cars, and they're really nice with it, and like
Oh.
yeah,
Whoa.
In Nevada.
in Nevada, yeah.
That's really, really cool. Shout out to them. You know,
You know their address? Call 1-800.
Yeah. 1-800 Lavatela.
do you feel like an encouragement of your parents too? Like, hey, like if you want to do this, and go for it. Also helped a lot.
My parents chased the American dream
Yeah.
of like having a home, a good job, 2 kids, a dog. And now it's like my American dream is to own my own business, be my own boss. My brother and I are like pretty good like examples of that. You know, he owns his own business. He started working when he was like 12 or 13.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
Wow. Then I hope it's inspiration to the viewers to see like anything else. Sometimes college is not the way.
No.
But if you're a little lost, I think it's a nice place to go to find what you might want to do, talk to other people, and also find your inspiration, your talent, or what you want to work hard on.
100%. You know, college is a good base, but if you know you're good at something, you know that you can do, own your own business, do whatever you want to do, go for it, you know?
And again, if Sal can do it, y'all can do it.
What do you think about finding like the culture here, like the Mexican American culture, the Mexican community? Because I know like you land here and you're like, whoa, like where do I get like my queso fresco? Where do I get my tortillas? And all of that. Was that a little bit like finding these places, or you already?
I feel like it was also a little bit culture shock in a way.
100%.
Yeah.
Because, I was here for a week. I was on vacation, like, and then you come here and you start living here, and then you realize the trains aren't reliable. You start to learn, like, it's super hard to get an apartment here, like things like that. I'll be 100% honest with you. The first year, I hated New York. And I would tell my wife, I'm like, dude, why are we here? I was like, what are we doing here?
I want to go home.
Yeah, exactly. I had one bad time where like the train was not running back into Brooklyn, and I got home and I was like, start looking at flights. We're going back home. And then she's like, really? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm bored out. We're out. I can't do this anymore. But
was it that train?
Nah. But I think once you find your people, you go searching for it. Now you know where to get your queso fresco, your tortillas,
your quesillo.
Exactly. I was like, it all starts coming together.
It's not queso Oaxaca, it's quesillo.
For the record. That's when it all starts to like fall together and you're like, damn, like this, like being able to find you guys, being able to find like Cholita, being able to find a community that you belong with. It feels like you're at home now. And now I love New York. Like I just remember like when I first got here the first year, like I loved getting off at different stations and like different like boroughs because it was all a different world to me. I'm just like, oh. And then my wife was like, haven't we been here? I was like, no. I was like, dude, we're like in Queens. I was like, that's what you're talking about? We were in like Manhattan or whatever, So that's what I really like about it. Just the diversity. And it's just like the opportunity you're given here is like no other. Not only like career-wise, but you're able to think different. Yeah. You're mentally stronger than a lot of other people.
Yeah. You heard that? We're smarter.
Yeah.
Es que la mala vida.
Yeah.
You already know. Like we suffer.
When it kicks you down, like you just gotta...
We keep getting kicked down. Like
as New Yorkers, we're born here or we're raised here, and we kind of get used to it. Like I'll just stick to what I know, to my favorite go-to mom and pop shop. But there are so many other cultures, so many other food. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Right. Because you definitely got out of your comfort zone, like 180 completely, and you found a way to enjoy and stay here in New York.
Yeah,
and the more you explore NYC, and the more you start meeting people, the more smaller you start seeing that NYC is. Because everyone started noticing, like Fulano knows this one, homie knows that one. Yeah. I'm like, oh wait, what? Yo, that's my prima. What? Oh, that's my cousin.
I remember seeing you at events with like your puppets and stuff.
Yeah.
And then now I'm doing this with you.
Oh yeah. Where did you see us with our puppets?
I think the first time I saw you guys was at the Rucas y Veteranas event.
Yeah, a lot. It was Rucas y Veteranas. Yeah. We keep
Everybody
getting
was there.
Yeah. Everyone. I feel like what's crazy? Like you said, everyone was there, but everyone was in their own. With their own friends, but yet everyone, we get the same comment. I saw ya. Yeah,
I saw the puppet.
I saw the puppet, and we're like, what the heck? And now, usually now everyone's like, oh, that's so cool.
And not everyone is, comfortable enough to like go up to random people, as well. So there is that like little division, but in a way, I feel like divine timing. It always comes back to that, where it's like it's not your time yet, like. It wasn't our time yet to like meet you, to have a conversation. That wasn't the place for us. And then you see him again, like, who is this guy?
Well, that kid, yo, he grew his beard. What is he, like 12?
Yeah.
Nobody told us we could bring toys. New York is pretty small.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna enter our segment called Spooky Story Time, where we tell us paranormal activity or situations that happen to us, like Llorona, Los Duendes, any situation you had or paranormal activity.
Here, luckily, nothing. But back home, the house that like my dad, like the first house he bought, he just like felt like weird. Like it just felt kind of like spooky. Like something was there, but like personally, I never saw anything.
Mhm.
But like you could feel something, you know. And one day, I still remember this. We're watching like this like car show, and we're just like all watching it. And then I also have like an older brother, and it was all three of us. Nobody was home. Like my dad left. We all saw him leave, and then it was a 2-story house. So like upstairs, you heard like boots. Like, bah, bah, bah.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, did Dad leave? And then like we all run upstairs to check it out, and there was nobody there. So we had just woken up, and like we just started watching TV. We didn't even brush our teeth, nothing. We left the house. We did not come back till the end of the day.
Did you tell your dad? Like, did he say anything? Or?
No, like it was just kind of one of those things to where like we just kind of kept it.
Like that's it.
Yeah, like
So you never told him? Ever?
no.
Damn. Well, you're hearing it now.
Yeah, you're
Dad,
hearing it.
there was somebody with boots upstairs.
No way. That's scary. And
That is
y'all never heard
creepy.
nothing after that.
Me personally, no. My mom says she heard stuff, but my mom was like, éramos bien miedosos.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't tell us anything.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
you should ask your mom now.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yo, that's gonna be like they're gonna be what? I still hear it. What?
Yeah.
You know, if that was like like the house was already built before you guys like.
Yeah, I think it was like built in like the 80s or something.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it was pretty old.
Yeah.
A
That was
couple people died there or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
Broken in.
It was on sale, so like
Yeah.
that's it.
So, do you have any advice for anybody out there who might want to go into photography, or a kid out there lost in Nevada that's like doesn't know what to do with their life?
I think this specifically goes to like anybody from my hometown or like anyone that comes from a small town that like can only dream about moving to a big city or anything. Anything's fucking possible. You just have to work and you have to like know your end goal. Once you get there, you'll figure it out. If my parents could come to this country, my dad was 15 when he came here. I was like, bro, I'm 26. I can go anywhere. I know the language. I know the culture. I know how to ask for directions. I can go anywhere. It's just across the country. It's not like I'm going across the world. So yeah, anything is freaking possible. As long as you like really have the determination and you really want to get there, you can do it.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, thank you for that. You know, that's very inspirational. I think a lot of people can relate to that. You know, having immigrant parents is definitely a different life. You know, you
Yeah.
grew up differently from others, but it's a tough life, but it's also a beautiful life, and you learn a lot of lessons through that.
Thank you for those words again, and it is actually very inspirational. Like it's true. If our parents could do it, why can't we? We get so stuck in our heads that we make things a little harder sometimes.
A lot of people are afraid of like failure. They're afraid to like for it not to work out.
No, yeah.
That's okay. It's
Oh,
like I think that's one of the biggest lessons that I learned is like it's okay to mess up. It's okay to it didn't go your way. Now you know what to do next time.
Yeah. Like if you didn't fail, then you didn't try.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think a lot of lessons, the biggest lessons that we learn in life are from failure,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, or don't work hard, So
If you're born with talent, just use it.
Quote of the day: you don't work hard, you just talented.
with that, we're done. We're done. Thank you.